Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Let's get this video up 10 likes, y'all. Let's go, let's get it, man. We gonna be talking about today types. Types. We're gonna go forward into the lesson. The lesson is inside of Mimo, and you all can just download it. That's inside the description. Let's get to it. So right here, we have already seen a few kinds of data, like numbers and strings and programming terms, and these are called types. So right here, when we program, for instance, x is equal to word. This is the type right here. For instance, if we do this right here, y is equal to, this is a type right here. And then once again, if I do right here, this is a type. And also right here, last one right here is called, right here, TRUE. This is a type right here. So those are all our types. And if you are confused and don't know what's going on, just go back in the playlist. It ain't no big deal. Alright, so right here it says, strings are characters between quotation marks, like the value high. So this is a string, and this is how you write it properly without getting the error. It's the left side is a variable, the right side is a string. You can tell it's a variable because they don't have no quotation marks. And also, once you space, you can't space out a variable without adding either an underscore, without having an underscore, because you can't just put a space in between it because it will give you an error. So integer is another type was another type we use. It represents a whole number without decimals, like 42. So float is another number type we use to describe with one or more digits. And again, float is, the only thing that's a float is basically is, hold on, so right here, float is just basically all it is, just a number, like number 1 point. You always have to have a decimal. That would make it a float. So if you have a decimal, it's a float. So the thing I'm doing right here is just making a decimal point. So the type Boolean contains only two values, true or false. We will store the value true inside the variable. So we're just doing what it's saying do, putting true right there, which is a type. When storing false and is on, we say that we assign a value to a variable. Only thing we're just doing the same thing, making a variable with a type inside of it. So what are the values like booleans, strings, and numbers are called? So you can pause this video this time. Alright, so the answer, the first option says variables, the second one says types. Of course it's types, that's the only thing we've been really talking about for real. Variables, it's asking what are values. What are the values like booleans, strings, and numbers? And it's both all types. How do we recognize values of type string. So basically, you can pause the video this time. So the first option says by the quotation marks surrounding them, by the fact they are always words or letters. Alright, so by now you have your answer. So it's gonna be the first one because you're asking what is the value of a type string. And type string always have quotation marks. What do we call numbers without decimal points? So you can pause the video this time. So the first option says complex numbers. The second one is integers. Of course, we haven't even talked about complex numbers throughout this lesson, so it's gonna be integers. So what type is stored inside result? So they're asking basically what is this variable holding. So every time we print out the variable result, we're going to see a float, which is 3.33. Again, float is everything that have a decimal. So what are Boolean values? It's true and false. The second one is wrong because they have quotation marks, and that's a string. But it's asking us for Boolean values, not for a string. So what is a variable assignment? So the first option is storing a value inside a variable or giving a variable a name. So right now you pause the video if you want to answer it. Alright, so the question is asking again, what is the variable assignment? So the variable assignment is basically to store a value inside. Assigning a string to a name variable, an integer to age, and a boolean to its active. So they just want us to put a string to the name value. So the name value, we're going to put a string. The only string that we have in the bottom box is Joey. And the second one, list, or the thing it asks us to do, was an integer. Put an integer into, put age inside the integer. So the only possible age we have is, as an integer, is 28. The reason why it's not 55 point all that because it's a float, and up here it asks us to find an integer. So the third option says a boolean 2 is active. So we want either true or false, but the only thing we have is true down here. So everything we did was right so far. So save a string value and the variable name. So just want us to put a string. The reason why it's not the first one is not it because it don't have any quotation marks. So it's not a string. And it asks us to save a string. The reason why it's not the third one is because that's a boolean. Then not ask us to put a boolean inside the name variable. So the only option left is this, and it's this because they have quotation marks. And quotation marks, was it ever inside the quotation marks is considered to be a string. So save an integer inside the variable. So save a float inside the variable. So the reason why I put that inside anything else is because, again, this is a float. A float always have a decimal and numbers after it, or just a decimal. But give a positive score the boolean value true. So basically they said, hey, I want to say, basically saying, hey, I got a variable, right? But I want something inside of it. And I asked them, what you want inside of it? I want true inside of it. So how we want to do that? So we just put true, TRUE. Remember, always when you type in a boolean value, always have the first your first letter capitalized. If you don't, it will not work. So assign the value 11 to the variable number of appearances. So they just want us to put a number inside this variable, which is 11, which is an integer. So that's all to it. Not that much to it. Like, see, this why you would probably appreciate downloading this app, because they have a leaderboard on there. And of course, you can compete with everybody around the world. They want to compete with you, have friends and stuff. Hey, that's all up to you. Whatever you gonna do. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this lesson, and let's get this video a like if you enjoyed it. And once again, check out the app in the description for y'all can do projects. Projects is shown to be a great way to learn content like this. So basically, have a great day. Thank you. I'm out.